enthusiasts, founders, or anyone is looking for enhancing their tech network, or also anyone that is looking to change the job, because I have a lot of contacts for this, and also I think you guys have contacts for this. So if anyone is searching for a job, just drop the CV. And also during these days, I'm updating the Discord server, so everyone can see some of the job position and this stuff, right? Okay, so when I was thinking about exploring in tech, I was thinking one thing. It's difficult to make events only in Italian, and this I think is not inclusive, because only Italians can enjoy these kinds of events. So my challenge was to visit every country, okay, and to create some events that can be accessible for everyone. So I know that not everyone in the world knows English, but since it's the most speaking language, doing the events in English it's the most easier thing to do. So in order to accomplish that, I have created 3 meetups groups. At the moment, we have the Milan one, we have the London one, and we have the Bangalore one as well. So if you think that if you have a city in mind, okay, that you want to add, so maybe you want to connect with folks from Japan, I mean, or from America, just drop me a message again, and I will create a new group. Just for giving you some numbers, the Bangalore group is the most active one. In just less than a month, we reached almost 200 users. It's amazing. Thank you guys for the support. Also, the Milan one is raising, and also as well London is a bit slower, but is raising as well. So this is essentially the project. Okay. So let's move on to the talk. And as I said before, I haven't prepared too much slides, are just simple titles. I want to speak a lot during this session. And then during the demo, we can move to the channel and have a chat together while I do the demo, right? So essentially, why this talk? Because I think GitHub in general is essential for, let's say, a modern software development world. Also as well, GitHub is used by many companies, guys. So also open source project and individual project basically are using GitHub. So it's really common to see this tool. And as well, I think that without knowing GitHub or using GitHub, you will have a poor version control. If you are using GitLab or other solutions, it's okay. But if you are not using these kinds of solution, you will have poor version control, and it will be a lot of piece of code that you will lose. Also, it will be difficult to collaborate on project, and also you will not have some testing and deployment automation that is required if you want to reach just a low level of the low acceptance level of quality, right? And also as well the security risk that you can have inside your project or inside your packages that you are using. So yeah, in essence, this talk is to just learn the basics today that you can use, that you need to know in order to run your project while let's say you are alone or or when you are working in a team. Okay. So this is why I've prepared this talk that will be the first one of a series. So before deep diving in the GitHub context, I think that everyone here knows what is Git, right? But just because I don't know if everyone knows what is Git, let me just give you an overview of this. Git is just a software, okay, that is a distributed version control software that essentially tracks changes in the code. So things like a save slot of a video game that you can put in many slots, and while you are playing that game, you can decide both to return to the last save, okay, or if you have many slots, to load different state of the game, right? Essentially, Git does the same. So what it's doing is allowing developers to work on same project simultaneously, but using maybe different branch, or using a different commits, okay, just to track the commits are like the saving, okay. So essentially, Git keeps the history of the changes, right? So just to tells you what are the simple and the most important keywords of Git. Commits are like the snapshot of the project in that time. So it's like when you take a photo and you take the moment, the exactly moment of the reality using the camera, right? When you do the commit, is essentially the same, but on the code. You will have branches. Branches are the separate lines of development that you can have. So, for example, the most common ones are the development branch, the main branch, that is actually the production branch, and the test branch, right? That is where people are testing the code. Merging is the term that tells you, let's say, that a developer is essentially combine a branch with another one. Rebasing is essentially to keeping a clean commit history, so you will, let's say, clean all the previous commits, okay, starting from more than one. And the stashing is the, let's say, temporary save of a work without committing that work, right? So, for example, you need to do a checkout of another branch, so you need to switch the branch. But if you have local changes, you can stash them and then you can recover them, right? So this is essentially Git. Okay. So for who doesn't understand this well, Git, it's the version control tool, okay? GitHub, instead, is the cloud-hosted service solution for the Git repositories. So it's not the same. I know that GitHub contains the key Git, but it's not the same stuff. So this is important to remember. Okay. Okay. Just think now what happens without GitHub or solutions like that. It will be really hard to track changes during the time. It will be a lot of manual effort because you need to every time deploy manually and takes a lot of time. And also it will be not CI/CD, let's say. So every release will not be stable, okay? So without GitHub, actually, we will have a lot of difficulties, right? So why use GitHub? I think you already understand the point. So you will have version control, collaboration between teams, automation, and security as well. Okay, this one is okay. And I think GitHub is for everyone. So if you are a student, if you are a job seeker, if you are a worker, I think that you should install GitHub. Why so? Because if you are a student, inside GitHub, you can find really a lot of resources that you can use for study as well. And you can connect with other folks that maybe are studying your same stuff, or maybe are just what I can say preparing an exam. Okay, so students, in my opinion, can join GitHub, and it is good because sometimes if you create your profile and you make your projects inside, sometimes company can watch these profiles and contact the students in order to get some internship, right? Also for job seekers is really important because sometimes as well you will receive the job instead of the internship, or just a message from a company, because to keep your profile update, to put inside your project, or just put the project that you like, maybe doing some contribution in open source is really a key changer when you need to search your job. And for a worker that is already working and already has the job, is important because it tracks changes of your jobs inside GitHub. So as well, so if you are a student, you will receive internship. If you are a job seeker, you will receive some job proposal. And as well, if you are a worker, you can for sure demonstrate your skills with that, and also receive maybe other proposal of jobs, right? So this is why I think it's important to for anyone to join GitHub. So now that I'm finishing with the slides for the moment, I will switch to demo, so we can maybe move to main room channel, and we will see actually in a bit how we can use GitHub, the basic functionalities when you are working alone or when you're working in a team. Okay? But before moving on, there are some questions from the audience. Feel free to raise the hand if you have some. Okay. Okay, then we can move to the main room and start with the demo. See you there. Let's share my screen again. So now everyone can talk. If you see my screen, while we wait for everyone, I will zoom in. So essentially now, while we wait for everyone, we can talk, so everyone can talk. Feel free to make questions while I made these things. And essentially what I've prepared is a basic profile without anything, and just we will just see the things ongoing, right? So instead of seeing a lot of slides, what I have in mind is to interact with you, to allow you to make questions and allow you to see if what I am presenting is resolving your questions during the time about GitHub. Okay? So just be sure that everyone is inside. Let me just write a message. Okay. So yeah, you're able to see my screen, right? Just you can talk, guys. So feel free to open the mic and say if you can see my screen. Is everything fine?
We are
Okay.
able to.
Thank you. Yeah. So we can start. Essentially, okay. Essentially, I've created this profile. I will send the link in a bit. So you can also open the link inside your code, your PC and this stuff. I will send in the general here. Okay. So essentially, I've created this profile right here just to showcase and to let's say keep the changes and keep everything that we will do today and in the next events. So if you have some doubts, you can just go to this profile and check the things again. Okay, so in order to not missing anything, you can check this link and check the repos, check the projects that we will do today. So it will be much easier for you if you want to apply these things to your personal profile. So in essence, what is GitHub? This is GitHub, right? And if you are joining GitHub for the first time, you will not see this page. This page is the profile page that you can reach after that you will register inside GitHub. Essentially, GitHub, as said before, is this cloud solution that allows you to host your code, essentially, but you can also search for other users, do networking, and this stuff. So, how it works, you can find here your repositories that are essentially are the folder in which the code is stored, and here you can find the contribution that essentially are the edits, the contribution that you can do, that you do in your projects or in another project, right? So in order to start, let me take the first scenario. Yeah. So now think. I think these two scenarios. So when you can use GitHub, you can be alone or in working teams. So alone, I mean everyone that is maybe a student or a job seeker, maybe will not work in a team yet. Maybe you can work in an open source project and then working in a team. But since this is a more difficult thing, the things that I will show you now are most for a personal solo developer. Okay. So in order to understand this stuff, let me just show you how I want to structure the things. So yeah, perfect. Yeah, so essentially, if you are an alone developer, what is really important is to showcase your skills, right? So the first thing that you can do, okay, is to create the basic README that you can create by just typing the same name of your profile. So this is important, not for working, okay, but for unlocking the possibility to create a README. What is a README? Essentially, you can write your things like these ones that I've written in mine and showcase people the stuff. And as well, you can just showcase your personal projects, okay? And if you are a solo developer and maybe you have some project to showcase, so if you are a student or job seeker, it's important to do these kinds of stuff, okay? So essentially, just this is the basic thing, and then we will move to the most important stuff. You will unlock the project, okay? You can add the README, okay? And this is how a new repository is created. As you can see, here I'm not using any template because this is a special project that GitHub offers us to create the README. I think everyone knows this, but since maybe we have some students or job seekers inside, this is a cool feature that we can have. And now you can see that if I join back my profile, you will see this README, okay? And this is the basic one. So you can do your, let's say, create your portfolio and showcase your repository. As well, you can customize here just for pinning your best repositories that maybe you want to showcase rather than the others, okay? So now let's see, let's say, a more advanced one. So I've created this basic repo.js template. So the first thing that I want to say to you today is if you are working alone or if you are working in team, having a template is really important. So what I mean with a template. So when you want to create a repository, you will click on new button here. So you will actually go to repositories tab, okay? And then you will click new in order to create a new repository. And here you will see repository template. So since you are working alone, to having a consistent way to create projects is important. And why I tell you this? Because essentially, if you are working good in the best way, using the best practices, using maybe conventional commits, by putting maybe some dependabot inside your project or just CodeQL, etc., that we'll see in a bit, you will showcase to a possible company also your skills to set up projects, okay, and to manage projects. And essentially, there are no differences between things that are doing in the good way if you are in a team or if you're alone, okay? So if you do the things good alone, essentially you will do the same when you're in a team, but we will see the differences in a bit. So when you want to create a repository, you need to go to this URL, so github/new, and you will see this screen that you can use for creating your repository. So let's see what is the template. In order to create a template, we can just create a basic repository that is called test, and this will be our template repository. Okay, we can put a readme inside. We can take this license. I recommend to use Meet license, but yeah, it depends on the project. But if you want to learn more about this, there is a GitHub page of documentation that explains the licenses, right? But in my opinion, if you are new and you don't want to waste your time reading a lot of things, maybe because you are a beginner, there are some websites that are telling you this in an easy way, but in my opinion, you can choose the Meet one. So create the repository. And as you can see here, this is the test repository that we have created, right? But if we want to make this repository a template, it's really easy. We can just go to settings, and here you will find this template repository flag, okay, this checkbox, that if we enable this, essentially the repository will become a template. So if we go back to the repository, we will see a new button that is use this template right here. So use this template allows us to create essentially a new repository based on this one, okay? And why I spend some time talking about the templates? Because it's really important to standardize the way of working and the way of projects works, right? So for example, you want to create a JavaScript project, maybe you want some tools inside that we will see in a bit. You are creating a Python project, the same, okay? So it's important to guarantee a way of creating projects if you are alone, okay? But also if you're a team, it's most important. So essentially, we can check this example right here that I have prepared. I will send the link inside the chat as well. So yesterday night, I had the idea to create just a showcase project that you can use. I will create more, okay? So I will create one also for Python and one also for TypeScript in order to be inclusive with more languages. But essentially, what this project does is just a simple project with empty stuff inside that contains some features like prettier, slint, a test, a simple test, right? ASCII, and some CIs that are validating the stuff. So, as said before, why this is important? Because for every project, you will need, let's say, a certain amount of quality, right? So if you don't want to waste time for every repository to create the same configurations, okay, you can use this option and save a lot of time. So we can take a look of this and explain the things in how it works. So as you can see, this is a simple package JSON file, and this is the repo.js template that I have created. So essentially, you can start your project. Okay, so start, it means that, yeah, the index file is just a console log, so it's nothing really fancy. Okay, but you will have the start, so you can execute your project. The aslint fix is this command will tell us if the code is following the aslint rules. Aslint is a tool that allows you to maintain a certain level of quality inside your project. Okay, because as TypeScript does for types, Aslint does in order to, let's say, tells you when you are importing a variable that you don't need, for example, or you put some code that is not really working fine. Maybe you do some typos in this stuff, and Aslint is really helping you out because it saves you time. Format that is using Prettier, that again is a tool to prettify code. So essentially will indent and out-indent code for you. And Jest, that in this case is just used for simple test cases. That is this one. Okay, so it's not really difficult. But yeah, essentially is set up in order to if you create a JavaScript project, to edit the files and add your test cases. And as well, we can find ASCII inside. This is essentially a tool that prevents people committing if they are not following some rules. Okay, so instead of losing time running CIs to check if the things are correct after, and spend also some money, because remember that GitHub action that are essentially the way that you can create the CI/CD in GitHub. Other platforms like Azure has Azure pipelines. You can also have Jenkins. You can also have different ways, okay, to make CI/CD. But since we are using GitHub and we are talking about GitHub actions are built using the minutes, right? So essentially, to use a solution like ASCII is important because you can save money, right? And money is important both for you and for the client. So if you are working in a team, to save money is important. And as well, I don't know how many of you knows commit.lint. Guys, does anyone tried commit.lint? Yes? From the audience? Feel free to unmute you if you have tried commit.lint. No? Anyone? Okay, essentially, I will Google it for you. Commit.lint is a solution that I found in order to validate your commit messages. It's important in your projects, and let me just recover my list that I have prepared for you. So it's important in a project to follow the standards of commits. In the most frequent way of projects, you will have your commit message that contains a prefix, okay, and a message. And we will see now in a bit how this works. But commit.lint is like a tool that essentially is validating your commit message. So if someone is making a commit that does not contain a prefix, is formatted in the bad way, does not contain some useful information, this will fail. So I think this is a tool, a really great tool that is used in many projects. And if you are not using this yet, you can give it a try. And in my opinion, it's really good. Not also for your personal projects, because it will tell people that you care about this stuff, but also when you're transitioning from a teamwork perspective, this will for sure give you value. Okay, I want to say, you guys, that also Node.js who does know Node.js in this room? Please say yes if you are no Node.js. Does anyone know? Okay, good stuff. So also Node.js, just for giving you context, that is a really big project. Okay, that is a really big project and it is working open source and blah blah blah. It's using a tool that is called core validating commit, something like this. Yeah, this one. Okay. So essentially, they have created the same stuff for their projects. So if you want to contribute to Node, you will need to deal with these things. So to use a solution like CommitLint is important because you will give you the perspective to others that you care also about this stuff and also Node cares about. So it's important to showcase also if you are working alone the things that you know. So if you know about quality, you for sure add some static test analysis inside your projects. If you know about your commits, you for sure add these kinds of tool. Okay, so this is the tool. Give it a try. I will share the link inside the server, and yeah, in my opinion, works really fine. So essentially, this is the basic package file. Okay. We will not lose time in others, but yeah, essentially we will have the index file that is the one that I've showed you before. The ESLint that is containing all the configuration for ESLint in order to do its job properly. A README that is essentially the way, let's say the place in which you should put the essential commands that need to be executed, in order to run your project. The .prettier file that is the rules for Prettier, and the Node nvm rc file that is essentially the version of Node that everyone should use when are running their projects. Okay. A git ignore, so these files will be ignored by git, and essentially this is the stuff. Okay, some more configuration, and okay. So now we will focus more on the messages, right? The commit messages. Just create an issue with commit messages, so we can take a look on the messages that you need to know. So essentially now I'm creating an issue. We will see in a bit what is a issue, right? But now we can just write the basic things about commit messages, right? So we can format like this. We can do something like this. So yeah, and I can do something like this. Yeah. So we have fit, fix, sure. Okay. Message. We will have fix, sure. Perf. So we will have perf. Docs. Style. CI. Test. Okay. But yeah, we can find. I think also refactor is used. But yeah, essentially, these are the types of commit messages that you can find in a project. I suggest to take a look of the best practices to use while you are working in your project. I mean, the general ones are these ones, and we will see for every of these prefix what is the let's say the scenario that you need to in which you need to use these ones, right? Because to use let's say a global standard recognized way of commit message allows everyone to understand what is going on. So fix Fit is used when a new feature is added, okay? Fix is when you fix a bug, okay? Or typos, okay? Etc. Okay? Perf is actually when you, let's say, enhance your performance in code. Docs is essentially when you add documentation. So add documentation, readme. So readme, etc. Style is essentially formattation. Okay. Format is better. CI is used when you edit workflows. Test is used when you add or edit tests. Sure is used when you want to actually maintain, let's say. So the best way to say this is when you want, for example, to the most common way to use this is when you want, to update your dependencies. Okay, and refactor is when you want to refactor your code, actually. So, okay. So yeah, this is let's remove this. Okay. So it is clear for anyone. Does anyone have some questions for this? Is it clear? Folks? So if no questions are here, I think it's clear. So these are the most used guidelines that I can suggest for you for using actually commit messages. Okay, so if you want to have your project or working in a team, these commit messages are the most used ones in the world. And also, if you are using some tools like Commitlint or the core validation commit from Node, you will see that you need to deal with a commit messages like that. Okay, let's move on. So we have seen the templates, a simple example of a repository template for Git for JavaScript, and the commit messages. So now we can see the issues. Okay, let's see the issues. So the issues is essentially the way that we have inside a project to do more stuff. Let's say the first thing that we can do is to ask for features, okay, or just if you are alone in this case, maybe you have a project in mind, right? And my suggestion is to create a repository. Maybe if you are not ready yet to publish it, or just if it's not an open source project, you want to take that project for you at that moment. Put the private, okay. But the thing that I will suggest to you if you are working alone is essentially after you create the project inside your profile, both public or private, just create a bunch of new issues that are essentially, let's say, taking the big problem that you want to solve or that the project that you want to create and split it in the smaller parts. So for example, now we have this fancy repository JS template, right? and maybe we are missing something like the README, right? So a possible new issue can be enhance the README, right? And we can say inside here, for example, add the basic usage commands in order to let everyone understand what the project does, right? So, and this will be the issue in essence. And you can see that here we can have the assignees, so you can assign. In this case, we can skip because if you are working alone, you don't need to assign this to anyone. And the labels will be something like enhancement. And this, since you are working alone, you can skip the others, right? I will mute someone. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so this is clear. Okay, so this is a basic issue. And we can skip the project stuff and the milestones because at the moment we don't need to have the things in the board. We don't want to lose time in other things. So we can click create. And this essentially is a issue. Okay, an issue is just a thing that you want to do. Okay, that most of the times is something that you want to add in your project. But another time, okay, can be a problem inside your project. So you can, for example, tracks the problems in your project using issues. So you will have issue, again, create an issue, and we can say a simple bug. And again, here, the things that you need to add inside a bug is essentially this one. We can take an open source project as a reference because I have done the issues template there. So essentially, yeah, let's just take an example. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do like this, and yeah, we can do something like this. Okay. So when you want to add a bug, essentially you need to add some things inside your bug, right? So this will not be, yeah, okay. This is the formatting. So essentially, when you are reporting a bug that is for your personal project or for any other one, okay, there are some really important stuff to insert inside. For example, let me just, yeah, do like this and do like this. So for example, here is the description, so a simple description of a bug, okay. These are the steps, okay, that you need to add in order to reproduce these ones, okay. So open the website, open the website, okay, and then click blah blah blah, and then see the bug, okay. And this is the to reproduce. So the expected behavior is what you expect. So I expect to see a big smile on your face. Okay, and and this is, and I think, yeah, we are missing something here. So this is the actual behavior. Okay, I see a sad face inside the page. Okay, this will be the environment. So yeah, we can skip for this. And the environment is essentially browser. We can say Firefox version. We can say 20, for example. And environment, maybe OS is, we can say Windows 11. Okay, so this essentially is a bug. And yeah, maybe here we can add as well an image that will help people. Maybe do like this. Okay, and we can save this image. We can save this image right here, and we can put the image here. Yeah, WebP is not allowed, so we can screenshot this and then add the image. So I will show you how to improve this process as well. Okay, so essentially we have creating a bug, and we can add for sure the label bug. Okay, so this is how a simple bug is normally found inside a project. Okay, we will find a description, the steps to reproduce the bug, what I expect to see inside my page, what I see at the moment inside the page, and some information about the environment. And if I have the time, okay, to do that, will be also to add a screenshot or a video. Yep. So this is a simple bug. But as you noticed before, in the other project, when I was creating an issue, okay, I have this fancy way to, let's say, to create a new issue, right? So it's if it's a bug, if it's a feature, or if it's a blank issue, okay? And if you click this, you will let's say, let's say you will forced by the system to put some required stuff inside your new issue. And this is important because when you are working with a team, for example, if you receive an issue that is empty or missing some information, essentially you will lose time triaging them. So by forcing your team to use a structure in the let's say a structure like this, everyone needs to put at least the basic informations inside. Okay, so a title, the description, the steps to reproduce the bug, the expected behavior, and blah blah blah. So the same stuff that we have done manually, right? And so you will save time. For doing this, you need just to add inside your .github folder, inside your repository, the folder called issue template. Okay, and then you will need to add the files in YAML format, structured in this way. So this is the example. I will put this in the general chat. Template. Okay. So this is the example in order to create the issue template. And why this is important? Because as you noticed in the third line, after you will create the issue, it will automatically assign labels to that. So this is important because when you have a project that maybe is a personal one, but is an open source one that is maybe big, maybe is used by many developers, and you want to create some dashboards, so you want to create some fancy dashboards to showcase actually what are the metrics, so how many issues, how many bugs, how many features, blah blah blah. If you create something like this, maybe also by distinguish the issues, the accessibility issues rather than the normal issue, you can create a good dashboard, right? Without having to deal with triaging the manual issues that are created using the blank formats that maybe are not respecting the format, okay? So this is important in my opinion, and instead of doing this for every project, is it good to create these kinds of configuration inside a template repository? Because instead, if you not create the templates for the issues, all the configurations, you need to create those for every repository. Okay? So this is important to remember. Okay, so issues, we have seen what the issues are working at the moment. So we can move on to task management. Okay, so essentially in GitHub, let's say after we have created our issues, so that are the things to do. Okay, we can say also for an issue, a checklist. We can define a checklist. Okay, so if we they're here, no. Let's see if I remember how to do this stuff. Text. Not like this. I think it's something like this. Don't remember. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Essentially, yeah. We can create. Let's say some to-do list. Okay, for every issue, and this will be shown inside our pull request in order to showcase us and to tell the people what things are missing in order to accomplish a pull request or an issue. Okay. So let's just see what is a pull request before moving on to projects. Sorry, but pull request now is important to explain. So starting from an issue, okay, this one, for example, I can create a branch, okay, that is, as said before, a parallel way that we can use to create some new features inside our project, okay, so developers can work in parallel. I think and I recommend that also if you are working alone, it's important to follow the practices that you will follow, that you will probably follow and usually follow in teams. So if you know how to do stuff alone and you do them, people will probably notice those things inside your projects, and they will say and they will think that you will be able to work good, right? So also I know that it takes time to do this, and maybe not every time is worth to spend a lot of time dealing with branches and this stuff. But in order to have, for example, a nice way to showcase stuff, okay, inside your project, is good to work using the best practices. So in this example, we can create a branch, okay, by clicking create a branch from the issue. So I'm inside the issue. I can create the branch that is called like this, okay. So yeah, I can say readme, create the branch. Yes. Okay, branch created. Now I can go inside here and code using the code space. Yeah, I can delete this one. So essentially, for who doesn't know what is code space, GitHub is now offering a way to work directly on cloud on a simulated environment, okay, that can allows you to save time by, let's say, save time on cloning the project, setting the environment, but I don't want to recommend this for every project, because if you are working for example, some test automation projects like Appium or Playwright, etc. If you need, let's say, some overlays of some external pages, it will be a problem for you to use CodeSpace. But since this is a simple project, we can use this one. Okay. So now we are on main branch, as you can notice here, right? So we can copy paste the commands that we have received. So essentially, it will fetch the project, the Git project, and we can check out to switch the other branch. Now we have switched to the enhance the README branch. We can just put here more text, okay, or just simple text, okay. We can save, and in this case, who wants to say me what commit message do I need to insert here? So folks, what do I need to insert here, since it's a README edit? Who wants to answer? Okay, yeah. Essentially here we will do docs, okay? And we can say added some text, some content inside README, okay? Okay, now we can push this we can commit this thing, okay? Here we can see the differences by clicking on the file, so the before and after, and we can say commit, and we can push. So if we go back inside our project, we can notice that enhance the README branch had recent pushes, okay? And if we switch to the branches, to the new branch, we can check the new commit, that is this one, right? Okay. So essentially now that we have some differences, we can do a pull request. Also notice that if you want to see your branches, you can click this select right here and check if you have more than one branches. We can use the compare one. And for the pull request, I will suggest you to edit this title, okay? And to add a properly description here. Maybe we can do another session on GitHub to, let's say, for the best practice to the pull request, okay? So the best thing and the most fastest way that we can use and that we have inside GitHub to close an issue while merging is to use the keywords of GitHub. That are the closing keywords. So in order to do this in our pull request, we can say close hashtag, okay, so the hash, and tag the issue that is related to this one, that is in this case enhance the README, okay. After that, we can create the pull request, okay, and in this case, as you noticed, a CI is being executed. Okay, and also as you noticed, we have one task that is done. Okay, one task that is done because here we have this one. Okay, we have no tasks. Okay, in this, but if we for example format this like this, okay, so instead of putting the checkbox inside the issues, we we put them inside the pull request, okay, we will see that we will have, let's refresh. Okay, maybe it's not getting the stuff here. This is the checks. Let me check why this is not to do. Next, I need to check if this is the properly way. Instead, I will format you the file because now I'm not remembering if the syntax is correct for GitHub. I mean, but if you put the correct syntax, you should be able to see that you need almost 2 tasks to finish in order to complete the merging. Okay. So I see in the chat a question, what are branches? Yeah, essentially branch, as said before, are a way, okay, are a way to separate the lines of code that you have in your code. Just to explain it simple. So you as you can see here, we have the main branch. So the main branch is the production branch. So is the branch, okay, that contains the code that everyone will see. So your users. So if let's imagine that this is a website, okay. So the main website, the main branch that contains the code of the website is the code that the end users will see on the website, okay. So if you want to create separate versions of your project, or just want to say that maybe on the main you will use external third-party providers, okay, or some real world APIs, okay, and maybe in the development branch, that is the branch that you will use to make changes before pushing them to the production environment, okay. Inside the development branch, you will use some mocked APIs, okay. I don't know if I have answered you, but for example, if you are working on a website and you want to make some changes, okay, you can change directly on main, right? Because if you create a bug, everyone will affect that bug, okay. Does I have answered you? Low hit, I mean, if it's correctly. Okay, I don't know. Yeah, I think yes. Okay, thank you. Okay, so just for summarizing this, because I see that we have done a lot of things in a small amount of time. So just to show you what we have done here, the pull request. So in the pull request, stuff. Okay, let me mute you again. Okay. Okay. So just for adding some more context about this, as you noticed, we have this green flag here. This green flag is shown because actually the CI that we have done is passing. Where do you can see your CI? You can see the action tab, and here you will see the actions that are working. So you can check up the step of your CIs and if it's working or not. Okay. So just for showing you an example. Okay, let's go back here. If I go inside GitHub, so essentially the workflow folder is the folder that contains every CI of your project. Notice that it's a best practice when you're working in a team, but also alone, it depends, but alone most of the times there are not too many CIs in projects, in my opinion. It depends of the project as well, but if you're working alone and the project is not too big, there are not too many CIs, but it's a best practice to create some reusable CIs. And I mean, if you know action, GitHub action, maybe we can have a session in the next time. You will know that you can use external jobs, okay, inside your YAML file to create your CIs, okay, and to have a reusable one is really handy, because instead of creating, for example, different files, one for Android, if we think about mobile environment, you need to create one for Android, one for iOS, blah blah blah. You can have a reusable action that contains the configuration and then just changing the variables inside. Okay, let's look at the basic CI file that I've created. So this is the way that the YAML file works. The GitHub action work. So GitHub actions are created using YAML language. So YAML is a language that we can't see right now. I know that I've said that this is for everyone, so I will not spend time to explain how it works. Okay, it is used in many contexts, not only in CIs. But yeah, just for explaining you in the simple words what this action does, it will, so the name is continuous integration, and this is the name that is shown inside the action. You will see that this on is the triggering way that we can use to trigger the action. So when a push occurs in the branches main or develop, or pull request occurs in the branch main or develop, notice that we can also use crons. The cron job is the way that we can use to schedule actually the action running autonomously in days at certain time. And this is the syntax, okay? But in our case, we are just executing this when an event occurs. When someone that can be you or anyone else triggers this condition. Okay, we are telling the system that we will use Ubuntu as the machine, and essentially the steps that we are doing are check out the code, set up node, install the dependencies, linting, and run test. Okay, so this is just the basic CI that I think that every project, since you are working alone or in a team, should follow. So a basic CI is mandatory, and in teams, as said before, is important to deal also with I will show you, with some static analysis code. So there are some tools like CodeQL or SonarCloud as well. Okay, CodeQL or SonarCloud that can, let's say, in essence, scan your code and tells you if there are some, code smells, vulnerabilities, or just some errors inside your code, and it's free for open source project. This CodeQL one. So if it's free, why not to use it, right? If it can improve the quality. So this is just a simple way. I will probably add CodeQL as well inside the repo.js template. So we can add the issues here to say add CodeQL, okay? And we can say that this is an enhancement, okay? Right? And essentially, these are some tools that can help to reach the quality inside our projects, okay? So since there are 12, I want just to wrap up and just put some information maybe inside an issue so everyone can see this. Okay. But before moving on, let me just okay, take one thing. Yeah. One thing that I don't have said that maybe sounds really simple, but is to enable the two-factor authentication inside your profile, because sometimes you can handle let's say handle with external login that can ask you to log in with GitHub. So it's important to have the two-factor authentication. And just before wrapping up, because I know that are already 12 and we have the question and answer moments, and as well I need to showcase the last stuff. Let's see how to work in Teams by seeing the organization. Okay, so I've created this basic example organization one that you can find here. I will send the link as well for this. Let me just put the link inside. So now you should be able to see my company, this beautiful red logo company. Okay, so just for showing you, here we have created a simple repo.js template, and here we have a simple issue with a pull request that I have created. Okay, so now I think one of the best way that you can have that you can use when you are working in a team in GitHub on a project is to use code owners files. So what are code owners files? Code owners files are just files that tells what are the code owners of the project. And just for showing you how this is working, let me just take an example here. Okay, so I will create an issue here that is called code owners. Okay, I will make again this stuff. Yes, and I will do like this. So essentially, code owners file can be putted in both .github folder or in the root, or I remember in another place, but at the moment I don't remember. But for sure, if you put the code owner file inside your root position inside your project or inside .github file, it will work. Essentially, you can define the persons that will receive automatically the reviewer assignee when a pull request is being made to the project, and we can assign everyone using this symbol. Okay, so for example, I can tag me, and this will be okay. I will make a comment here just to okay. So this will assign every file to the person in this list. Okay, so if all files were so essentially in this case, when using this syntax, Ludovico, so this account will be let's say added automatically inside the reviewer when a pull request occurs for every files. We can also do this for a specific team. So when you have a company inside when you create an organization inside GitHub, you can create teams, and as well you can say, for example, in this case, that the dev team of this in this case, this is I need to tag the company, but this is just an example. I can assign a team, okay, and this will say that every file is assigned to the team in this list, okay. We can also say that a single file is assigned. So I can write inside here the name of the file and then the name of the person. Okay, so this will assign the single file to the person. Okay, and we can do this also for the let's say multiple files inside the folder. So for doing this, we can do, for example, like this, and like this. Okay, so this will say to us that every workflow file, okay, is being assigned to someone. Okay, so this will assign all files inside a certain folder. Okay, and this is a great way that we can use in order to collaborate with others, because the code owners files is one of the first things that we add inside the project when we are working together in a team. So when just to summarize, yeah. So when we are working solo, we need to concentrate ourselves more on personal portfolio stuff, as I said before, and some, let's say, some repository to showcase. So if you want to create a personal portfolio or just some projects, you need to concentrate more on showcasing these projects, so enhancing the README, enhancing the contributing file. So if you know that contributing MD GitHub file is just a file that people use, okay, to say, for example, that in order to contribute to that project, that can be a personal one, right, or a company one, you need to follow these guidelines. So it's important, in my opinion, both you are working alone or in a team, to know these practices and to respect these guidelines in both cases. Because if you respect those guidelines, so the commit messages, the code owners, the name of the files, the CI/CDs, and the branching strategies, you can for sure showcase to others that you know how to do stuff. And also in teams, the things are working like the same way. Okay. So again, when you're working alone, you need to concentrate more on this personal portfolio stuff, repositories, as well on task management. But in this case, we don't have see too many things about this. Essentially, we can use projects that can be used in single projects, so in the single repository, or in a profile level. Okay, we can create a project that is essentially is a Kanban board, okay, of your issues to track things of working. But we can have for sure a session on this as well. And essentially, this is a Kanban board that we can use to manage the issues and the projects. This can be used in both personal, single repositories or organizational level. Okay. And essentially, just to showcase you how it works, this is the project stuff. And here we can say, this is the way, this is the view. Okay. We can see that the view can be, let's see if I can do it like this. No. Okay, it's not letting me to change this, so I will create a new one just because it's more simple. So project, and I want a team planning Kanban board. Yeah. Okay. And as you can see, when you create your project, it will ask you which template to use. I think that the most used one and is the most, let's say, easy one is the Kanban board, and is essentially a Kanban. And here you can, let's say, see your okay, this is the README, so this is not something that I need now. But you can add essentially your issues right here. Okay, you can select a repository, and then you can select an issue here. For example, enhance the README. And since this is a pull request step, we can say in review. Okay, and this is how persons are generally manage this stuff. So again, for wrapping up, for solo developers, it's important to concentrate on these guidelines to build a portfolio and showcase repositories. As well, you can use projects to track your activities, but it's really important to use GitHub Actions because it will showcase that you care about, again, commit messages, quality in general, using static code analysis, maybe using the Dependabot. Dependabot, for who doesn't know what is it, Dependabot is a way that we can have in GitHub to track essentially the new updates of the dependencies that we use, and this bot is essentially making some pull requests when we need to update stuff inside our project. Okay, so it's really good to use it, so give it a try also to this. Let me send in the chart here. Okay. And so as well, let's say, to showcase how your repositories are built is something that builds a strong portfolio. So don't focus only on your website. Focus also in the way that you are creating your repositories. Okay. This is for a personal solo developers. For a team, so for using GitHub in team, a lot of people are, let's say, in the past are using Git flow as the way of, sorry, this is in Italian, so maybe I will show you in English for better understanding. English. Okay. Yeah, if it's translating or not, but okay. Git flow essentially is a way of working with Git. Now I know that most of the people is using GitHub Flow rather than Git flow. So this is a way that we can use to work in teams. Essentially, we create feature branch or hotfix branch. I will not have the time now to explain how these things works, but essentially the most common ways to organize Git and to use Git inside the companies are Git flow, GitHub flow, or another way, for who doesn't know this, that is called trunk-based development. That is a really common one. That is more focuses also on the versioning stuff, versions, basically. So again, so if you are working on a team, branching strategy is important, code reviews are important, and how we can do code reviews, simple as it is, we can just see, for example, our pull request that we have inside this project. Okay, in this case, for doing the review, I need to be assigned as a reviewer. Okay. So we can define some rules. Okay. Now we don't have defined any rules. Okay. But an important rule is to block merging. Okay. Until one is approving that code. So this is the basic one. And also another good thing to do, we will see in a bit, is to protect branches. Okay. So this first thing is to let's say let one person to review the code. Essentially, for reviewing the code, we can use this button, add your review, and then after we have seen the code, we can select here viewed, and as you can see, we have viewed every file that we have in the pull request, and then we can say approve. In this case, there are some rules that we can use to auto-merging branches after an approval is done. But in this case, it's not like this. So after the approval is given, the other folk, so the other profile, in this case, it's always me, right? Can merge the pull request, okay? And this is how the things are working. And also, if we want to protect the branches, we can check branches. Here, you will find branch protection rules. In essence, this will be the last topic for today. So thank you again for being here for this at this time. So the branch protection rules are essentially some ways that we can use to protect the branch from let's say wrong from pushes. Okay, so think that again, a website that has the main branch and contains the code that everyone is seeing. So maybe you are using your editor and you are not inside this branch, you are inside the main branch. Okay, you are making some edits right here. Okay, and you push inside the main branch, and you and maybe you're written something that you don't want that user will see. Okay, with a protected branch. Okay, and you can check here all the rules. Okay, you can prevent this to happen because users, let's say, that will push code in this branch will get an error, essentially. Okay, and that's it. This is the things that I wanted to present today. I know that we don't have seen everything, but since this is a demo, live demo, I think that I've showcased most of all of the things that I have. Just let me take again the slides. Okay. Okay, yeah. Okay. So are you seeing my screen right now?
Yeah, Lodovico.
Okay. So essentially now is the time. Let me unmute the. Okay, yeah. Essentially now is the time of questions if you have some. So thank you for being here again until now. So if anyone has some questions about the topics that we have presented today, feel free to make some questions. I will drink some water.
Yeah, Lodovico. I have some queries regarding open source contributions, Lodovico. As I'm a basic fresher, what kind of projects, how to find the projects so that I can contribute? I'm a little bit confused how to use the projects with my basic skill sets, around 2 years of experience.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no, good question. There is a way to find this. I don't actually remember what is. Let's say, let me just Google it. Open. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I found it. Yeah, there is a website called Code Triage. That is a good one. Do you see my screen, guys?
Yeah, Ludovico. I mean,
Okay. Yeah, there is a good website that is called Code Triage. Code Triage is essentially a website that you can sign up with GitHub, and essentially you can filter projects by languages. Okay, so the first thing that I recommend to you is to select maybe first the technologies in which you want to contribute, and then after that, after selecting the the technologies that you want to use, so for example, Python in this case, we can take Python. As you can see, you will find projects with the number of features that they have. And I suggest you, for example, if you want to contribute in testing, okay, I've taken some projects that contains a particular framework that I want to master, right? So I will make you an example. Let me just take the link of that. I will give spoilers, but yeah, just because, let me check, where is it? Test. Yeah, this one. So essentially, this is one of the projects in which I want to contribute. That is called Hyperswitch. Okay. So this is an open source payment switch that is written in Rust. Okay. I found it really cool. And as you can see, it contains a lot of file. And as you can see, it contains the README and many other things that we have seen today. If you go to the issues, right here, you can filter by selecting maybe the good first issue, the good first issues. Okay, and in this case, you will find a lot of them. Okay, so if you are a novice, okay, and you want to contribute in the open source in some projects, it's good to take the good first issues first, okay, and then scaling to the not good first issues, right? In my case, what I have done is to actually search for Cypress, and here you can see that here Cypress is telling me what are the test cases that they want to automate. Okay, so I can take this issue, I can fork my project, fork this project that is essentially making a copy of this project on my profile, and then starting contributing. Okay, this is the way in how it works.
okay, Ludovico. Thanks for that. I will try it.
Yep. Other questions? Anyone has more questions?
Ludovico, can you brief me the experience about your first contribution to the open source? What is the thing you have done
Yeah,
during your initial days?
you mean the first contributions?
Yeah, yeah.